if you want to go for a title belt, like what's the process like, and who do you choose to fight, just so they can work onto that.
Okay, I guess it depends on who you want to fight. Of course, if you want to fight somebody who already has the belt or somebody who's got a good resume, then they might demand more money.
Okay.
Yeah, so it depends on demand and supply as well. So if I want to fight somebody who's really, everybody wants to fight the champion, but why would the champion want to fight me? Yeah, first I'm not known, or like I don't bring in the big money, but unless I'm a big mouth, so they just want to shut me up for some reason, or they know that the fact that they fight me, they're gonna get a lot of money. Yeah, they might do it, but there's no reason for them to do it. They don't have to do it. Yeah, so it's a business move. It's a business sense. But traditionally, it depends on how much you can offer your opponent. The sanctioning fees the promoter needs to pay for the belt. Then there comes like the air ticket, the accommodation, and all of that. So it all comes down to that lah.
But because I'm just thinking a lot, like how much does a pro boxer earn? Because I've seen from like recently we have the Jake Paul the Paul brothers fighting for pro boxing, and back in the day, right? You have the golden era, you have the Tyson era as well. You're like, oh my gosh, like the amount of money earned, and people don't real. This is why I've grown up. When I grow up and I say this, it's not a lot of people can reach at that stage.
Yeah, there's only like I think like 5% of the boxers that really make that amount of money. There are a lot of good boxers who are still not making that money that they need. Maybe it's their marketability is not there, language barrier maybe, the matchups that they have. So it's a lot of factors. I would say it takes a lot of marketing effort. It takes it's like handling a pro boxer is like handling a company. So you have to really market them, make them sellable, sell them. Yeah, like it's a tricky process. It's a lot of things to consider also.
But is it okay? I wouldn't say easy, but is it like, have you looked back at your career right now and just okay, and just go, oh, I'm glad I did this, or I'm glad that I didn't do this, or even like okay, so what's now with all the experience that I have, what's the next step taking forward, right? Like are there, like, have you thought of?
I mean, I wish I would have gone pro a little bit earlier. That is one of what I think about. Right now, I mean, I was supposed to fight for some event, then the COVID happened, then it got cancelled. Then I got offered overseas, but it never really went through. Got another fight offered for this year in New Zealand, but still waiting for the final contract. But I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. But other than that, I guess for now I'm just like coaching and stuff.
But so because right now I also see like pro boxers, like even boxers in Singapore, right? Amateur boxers, right? We're like, okay, let's do coaching and see how it goes from there. Like there isn't like a straight pathway, because I'm now looking at business sense when it comes to be a pro boxer or even a boxer itself. Like I've seen people who say, oh, I want to be a boxer, and I did stand up the last time, and I try to market myself as a stand-up comic and stuff like that, and I realized, man, it's a lot of hard work behind of all this marketing stuff. And I'm not talking about doing the real work, like sitting down, writing jokes,
content,
and even doing the podcast and stuff, like sitting down, sending out emails. There's a lot of mundane stuff at the back. And it's kind of like, oh shit, like that there are a lot of work that I didn't expect to do as well.
I guess there's a lot of work that people don't see lah. People don't see. People only see the front. So even when I look at the fighters now, they're not like exactly going out there to sell themselves. It's like you're hoping and expecting people to support you just because you're Singaporean, or just because you say your skills are good. That's not enough. I mean, in pro boxing, you have to be out there. You don't have to trash talk, but you need to have a character. You need to sell yourself. But a lot of people not doing that. They're only like active on social media only like 1 month or 2 months before they start to have to sell tickets. So it doesn't feel so genuine also. It's like you just want me to come just to buy tickets. It's a continuous... You sort of put yourself in the limelight. Your life is not just yours. So there's a thin line between keeping your life private and also letting people get into it, so people have a better idea of your life. People fall in love with your story. get emotionally attached.
But
And-
what's your how do you choose to put yourself out there though? Like this is where social media comes to play. Because I'm like, okay, so where would you draw the line of like saying, okay, this is so much I'm willing to give, and it does not infringe my because you don't want to be another influencer.
Yep. Like
You
for
want-
me, I don't talk about family, so I don't get my family involved because yeah, I think because the people on the internet can be very cruel. It's
Oh,
easy
yeah.
to be cruel behind the scenes, behind the computer, and I don't want my family to be affected by it because it does affect me sometimes. And if it affects me, it's gonna affect the people that I'm with. So that's where I draw the line. So it took a little bit of convincing from my promoter previously to even get my son on camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it took a bit of convincing because I wasn't really into it, but it was a big fight. It was for a world title fight. So I'm like, okay, I mean, like, give it my all, do what I can. Yep, for me, I've been consistent on social media, doing stupid things, not just boxing, not just telling them how good I am, or I'm just genuinely showing the message of what I'm trying to do for the scene, what I do with my gym, what I do with the people that train with me. So if they like it, it's good. If they don't, they still watch me, so it's good. Yeah.
There's no backlash.
Yeah, it works both ways. Yeah.
But do you feel like playing? So because you're playing a face in wrestling, it's called face character, where and heel character, right? You're playing the good guy here, right? Is it harder to sell tickets?
I wouldn't say I'm a good guy. I would say I speak my mind, and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of the boxers in Singapore don't like it. I've been blocked a few times. They've said a lot of things behind my back, which I know, but I just pretend to be stupid. And till now, they don't think that I know. And there are a lot of things that I cannot talk about because if I say it, it's like I'm being petty. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So I always have to be the bigger guy. I always have to be the one to forgive. I always have to be the one to understand. So that kind of sucks. For these people, for these other boxers coming up, they can just say whatever they want. And if I fight back, you already somebody. Why you want to fight us? But if I were to bring to light whatever they've said, whatever I've heard, whatever they've told the people around me, I think the public will understand why I did and why I reacted the way I reacted, because it's just ridiculous sometimes.
It's kind of like a weird thing when you're a boxer, when you fight, it's always the battles that behind like it's off stage that you can't deal with, like you got no defense against.
Yep.
With this like a weird, like it feels like, on me it seemed like a weird kind of situation where in the ring itself, when someone is fighting you physically, you can at least block, you can at least parry and stuff like that. But how are you maneuvering with all this kind of stuff?
You just have to ignore. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of patience. But you just have to ignore. Stay focused. Focus on it. It took me a long while. I still struggle with it sometimes, but it's better now because I'm much older now, so I'm a bit more chill. But before that, I get affected by almost everything. Whatever people say, I get affected. Whatever comment I say, oh, you don't punch hard. You don't. I don't even know this person, but I feel like I need to prove myself. But at the end of the day, I feel if people don't want to listen, they will just not listen. If people don't like you, they will just not like you. Like they say, if people don't like you, they see you walking on water, they will say it's because you can't swim. Right? So you cannot win. So I just realized I have to focus on the things that truly matter, which is for me at that point of time as a fighter, training, fighting, winning, marketing myself. Yeah, that's all I know. That's my job.
How would you but you also have legends now, because I saw legends sparring. Like is it hard to consolidate every gym in Singapore, considering like how splattered it is? Or even okay, maybe before that, there's a question that goes in my mind, like because boxing has suddenly exploded in Singapore, like the interest because of pandemic situation, I guess. Because I joined in after the second breakout, second breaker. So it's like, but I do keep in touch in the sense that I've always wanted to do a little bit of boxing, maybe join a gym or something like that. But I didn't really get in touch until like when I started going to a gym and started training for like 3 months in. Then after that, everyone seems to come to do boxing and stuff like that. So it's a little bit weird to like, oh, is it like the new age of people who started doing boxing and stuff like that?
I guess so. I think social media helps a lot. TikTok helps a lot. There's a lot of idiots out there boxing at void decks and stuff like that. I mean, it's not good for the sport, but at the same time, people sort of look at it, and it's just a matter of whether they want to do it properly or not. And then there's the pandemic. Then gyms have to close down, and then when we open, people had to go really want to go somewhere and spend their energy or spend their money, so they go to the gyms. I mean, boxing has always been there. Singapore boxing has always been there, whether it's quiet or not. During my time, there's only like 1 or 2 events in Singapore, and it's very little boxers. You almost know everyone. You almost know who you're gonna fight against with. Sometimes it's against your own friend. Comparing last time and now, so huge difference. I tell you, this is a good time to be boxing in Singapore. I think a majority of people boxing now wouldn't survive during the time when I was boxing.
Oh, can you just tell a little bit history of your time when you started boxing? Because I'm now curious about like how the whole boxing history goes, because it's it seems fascinating. It seems but it also seems like it got like a veil of it got a whole lot of characters in there, right? It's like a curtain, but it kind of like thought that I see something, but I know it's just a little pick of the history of boxing. Like what is it like in?
I guess in the 1950s, 1960s, Singapore boxing was one of the top sports in Singapore. Obviously, I wasn't around back then. I never thought I want to be a boxer. Being a boxer never crossed my mind. But of course, I know Muhammad Ali. Everybody knows Muhammad Ali, even though they don't box. And I dropped out. I decided to quit school, Polytechnic at that point of time. I was working in the kitchen. And then, you know, when you are around these uncles, these Malay uncles, these big brothers, they were talking about boxing like as if they've been doing it, but they've never done it before. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't realize. So they keep talking about boxing. I think I got influenced to do it. So I did it. That's when I got to know Coach Kadir, Syed Kadir. From there, I started my training and I got to know more about the sport. But by then, Singapore boxing was on the down. Even the sport wasn't even recognized by Sports Council at that point of time.
What happened? Like
I think there were 2 different governing bodies in Singapore. They were going at each other. I believe that's the case. And so Coach Khalid is trying to set up his own association, or trying to get back to the association to, like, you know, strengthen the sport again, and to propose to Sport Singapore that the sport of boxing is back. And I mean, that's what he did. I mean, his goal was to send a team again to Singapore, to send a team from Singapore to the SEA Games. And I didn't know what year we were planning for, but one day I just got a call and said, you know, after a few years of fighting, unofficially Singapore team Singapore. Then I built on a few wins, a lot of losses, but then I've got the record of that. I've been actively competing. So from that, Sport Singapore looked into that and said, okay, why not we send these 2 guys, me and Kai, to go for the games. And from there, it snowballed and it continued to pick up.
Because it's like the whole history. Like I always have this impression it's because it's a combat sports. It's also like a little bit of vibe, because my dad used to be a martial artist as well, but he's a Chinese martial artist. So apparently this is what I hear, but I'm not so sure how true is that, because I got no connections from there afterwards. So my dad told me like it wasn't recognized as a sport for China martial artists, even though they have sparring and stuff like that. I remember like because of its violent nature, like the Singapore government have just kind of like chastised the whole history of combat sports at one point, because you're fighting, so it's not healthy for and it's kind of like, oh, that's a history that I didn't know, but it didn't like really it didn't really hit me that hard, because I wasn't into like combat sports at that point. So I'm now looking at boxing in Singapore and see whether is it the case.
I'm not sure, but I know at one point of time Singapore boxing was very active, because there was boxing in the army. So almost all the uncles and whatever you talk about boxing, they will say they've been boxing in the army. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But that was the case, because one of the coaches, Coach Bala, who who sadly recently just passed away. I think last week.
Oh, no.
He was one of the coaches for Safsa boxing team.
Mm-hmm.
Then one day it just stopped. So I heard there were like injuries, bad injuries, or whatever. And to be honest, Singapore isn't the best place to do sports in general. And especially if you do boxing or MMA or something like that. It's not a conducive space. We don't have the culture. We don't have the support system. Our parents are those who say, you got to go choose your books first and all that, which I understand. But now I think the generation is changing. I think we are a bit more open to other things. So even if my son would say you want to be a professional gamer or what, I said you can, just better be really good at it lah.
I think it's also the whole. Okay, I myself, if people ask me like what's a career choice would you expect to be, like if and part of me will just go, if my child will ask me, right, I will also tell them, hey, just be careful about what you're choosing. You can choose to go with passion, but it's better for you to do like a what do you call it, to hit your books first. Like books is your priority, and because it's like you're not that 5% to reach that top to reach the top, right? You may not be that 5%, and from that 5% itself, it's like what like it's how many people are in that 5%, like, yeah, and because the vast amount of people, and I think it's the same thing with the arts as well, and it's just kind of like worrying sometimes because you just want to put your heart and soul into, and just know that, man, I can only be it can be John on the next cubicle. That's the top. It sounds sad, but it's just a reality. Like,
correct.
Yeah, and because you chose your dream, right? Like how would you push yourself through those kind of situations? Like what was the thing that just go, okay, look, fuck it, I'm gonna do this, right? That's all I have. Like I know nothing else, or maybe I do know something else, but I can't do that anymore.
I think for me it was just more like this boxing thing. I think I'm pretty good at it. I've got experience, and I genuinely want to share. Of course, I want to share my knowledge and all that. Of course, the priority was always to put food on the table. And at the same time, I wanted to do something meaningful. I wanted to do something. But at the same time, I don't want to be broke. So I truly believe there's a market there. I'm lucky that there's a market there in boxing, because when I started, there were very, very few gyms. We were doing local competitions, and that's why we have competitions right now. A lot of competitions right now from the other gyms or promotions, and I believe we caused a ripple effect, which is good. So for me, it was more like I was broke for a lot of years, and if I had to be broke again, I wouldn't mind. I just have to be a bit more careful because I have a family now. But other than that, I've been here before. I've been jobless. I've been broke. I've been like not noticed. I've been forgotten. So it's not something that scares me that much. It's like I know I will still survive.
What's a tip then, like to survive? Because I think it's really scary in a sense to survive without money. Like there are times where I want to chase my dreams, but I also want to but I also spend like 14 hours a day driving Grab so just so that I can to put food on the table, and just at least the next 4 months, if I can't drive, I still can put food on the table for at least for myself, right? Because I don't have a family, which I'm very lucky, which I think that it's a lucky situation where I can, because I'm still chasing my dreams, right? So right now it's like, but I still got the fear of like saying I need to drive for 12, 14 hours a day, and try to find the energy to be in the gym, to do a little bit of boxing, then to spend a little bit more time on the podcast, do a little bit of arts, to do something just I like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something that you, like people like you, people like me, we have to live with the consequences. We have to live with. This is why we call it sacrifice. That's why not everybody made it. Just because you have support, you have sponsors, you have money, doesn't mean that you don't have to put in the hard work. Like for me, I had to work a lot, like more than 14 to 16 hours a day. It's not healthy at all. It's not recommended. and I had to run at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. It's not because like I'm disciplined, but it's because I have to. Because I just have to be that person to be willing to put everything on the line. I have to forget about being tired. I have to just sleep lesser, just so that I can put in the hours to train. I train full time, but I also at the same time have a full time job. I was schooling also full time. I went back to school. Then after that, I was working. So everything I did was to revolve around boxing. I did a cleaning job. I washed cars. I was in the logistics, transporting washing machines.
How many jobs have you done? Like, I'm just curious about.
A lot, man. To be honest, I've been working since I was in Sec 3. I was in McDonald's first. Then I was sending flyers to homes. You know those agent flyers.
Yeah.
Then I did a packer job for Carrefour, which closed. Then I did a cleaning job. I did a car wash job. I did work in the kitchen for a bit. A lot of jobs.
Okay, what's the weirdest job that you have? Because I myself I started working at Sec 4. So I no at Sec 3 as well. So I did like flyers. I did like I did Toys R Us.
Oh, interesting.
So that's fun, right? There's a lot of cleaning of shit.
Yeah.
Then I became a Then after that, I help out my family with the welding job. But there is one that stands out, right? It's one of the most relaxed job that I've ever done. It's like cleaning of marble.
Okay.
So it's because I got a job for putting out flyers, and that flyer itself they need someone to clean the marble. So that's the most weird. This is one of the weirdest job that I had, right? Like that's something else. So what's your weirdest?
Damn, I wouldn't say it's weirdest, but I would say it's memorable lah. It's memorable because I was doing a cleaning job in one of the office towers in Singapore. I think that was fun because I get to meet a lot of people. Different people look at me differently. Some people look at me with respect. Some people look at me like I'm just a cleaning person. So when I clean the toilets, there are funny things that I find there. Then in the disabled toilet, suddenly I see one guy and one girl come out from.
Oh man,
it must be very stressful in the office.
Is it Orchard Towers?
No. It's not Orchard Towers. It's quite a nice place like in the CBD. I won't say CBD like outside. So yeah, I get to meet a lot of different people. The way they talk to me, the way they look at me. Some are nice, give me biscuits and stuff. And I was mixing a lot with aunties, some Malaysians, some Singaporeans, and I'm always obviously their favorite because I'm like so young. It's an interesting job lah. There's a human side to it. A lot of things to learn. I was earning like $30 only to be working from 7 to 5. So the reason I took the job is because it allows me to train after 5 and allows me to be flexible. So I told them you have to go overseas tournaments. Are they okay? And they're fine.
Okay.
So that's the reason I took it.
Does it get that? Is there a point where you just go, great, it got easier now. It gets slightly better, and I can focus on things that I want to do.
I like things when it gets a bit smoother, but I get also scared when it gets a bit easier because I know these times won't last. So I welcome whatever that's tough. I want things. I don't want everything to be difficult. Of course, I'm not a hero, but I need some things to be tough. So it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me not to take things for granted. And I believe whatever that's happening, whatever tough, I won't say it's tough. It's just a challenge which I have to go through, and to build me with the necessary characteristics and qualities to prepare me for whatever that's going to be tougher next in the near future.
What's the biggest compliment what's the line or that someone said that make you just go, fuck, this is my worst day ever, I will go back?
None actually.
None?
No, can't think of one.
because it. Or do you have anything that anchor you down when you be disappointed in how direction will be? Because I've read your life, right? Of whatever that's on the news itself. So there's a lot of drama just based on the newspaper and all the articles that's written, right? And I believe like there's a lot more stories at the back.
Yeah.
That I'm curious to find out as well. but just based on the articles itself that was being bring out to light, right? I feel like, man, there's a lot of drama in the boxing scene,
Yep.
and just like, okay, fuck, like what's and you're like pretty much at the top, at the top of the boxing scene in Singapore. So like what's anchoring you down to okay, I'm not going to the other side anymore. Like just go, okay, I'm not going to the other side. I'm still trying to climb from to where I hope I can be and stuff like that.
I think this is something that makes me happy. So this is something that gives me a purpose. So I don't see myself doing anything else. So even if I have to do something else one day, I will still be doing this, I think. And the fact is that I always keep thinking that everything is temporary. If it's good, it's temporary. If it's difficult, it's gonna be temporary. So you just enjoy it while you can. So because all of this won't last, whether it's the good or the bad. And I mean the business of boxing is really a challenge itself. Running 3 gyms is crazy. Boxing is really a lonely sport. Entrepreneurship is another lonely thing to do. But of course, I have 3 great partners, and they've been a great help. Like I said, what anchors me down is to be grateful that I still have an opportunity to make things better, to improve things, to earn some money, to make an impact in my students' lives.
What's the you mentioned about, even if you don't see yourself, like do they have, I know this is like a downer, but do they have anything planned? Because I don't see boxing as a like, when it comes to old age, you're just like, okay, I can't be Mike Tyson and just come out after 55, after 50-ish years old, 60 years old.
Yeah, I mean the fact that if I announce that I've retired and I've actually made the decision to retire, it's a bit easier. But right now it's like I'm forced to back away from the sport because of COVID, and the opportunities are taken away. So it's like a chapter that never really closed. So it's something that I just have to deal with myself. And every day it's like, but you could do another fight. Maybe you should do this fight. I can't say that I won't come back, but at the same time I gotta be realistic, because maybe the hunger is not there. Now I'm very passionate for the Singapore women boxing scene, because I'm doing the main coaching for that team. So that's my main passion. So doing that actually helps me a lot. I feel like being part of that helps me more than me helping them, because being part of that team keeps me sane. They are sort of like living that dream for me. Yeah, so I give the best that I can for them. So
this is one thing, right? Where you are giving your dreams to someone else, like you're passing the torch right now. You're, open air quotes, passing the torch right now. So here's this thing, do you feel resentment at least, or do you feel like in resentment, like when, okay, maybe resentment is not a good word to use, but do you go, why am I doing this? Why am I like passing the torch when I know that I still can give up a little bit of fight? I still have a little bit of fight in me, and I can still push the scene a little bit further, or maybe I can bring a bit more glory of what I can do. I still got a fire in me to burn, right? And it still can't be smothered out for now. Like are there this kind of feelings or thoughts?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes I see these young boxers who just go for their fights, acting like they've been through wars. But then to me, it's like, they know nothing, man. They know nothing. They're still so young. I mean, sometimes I wish, I have the opportunity. Sometimes I wish I'm still a little bit younger. But I've come to learn to accept. Because I think one thing that I've learned throughout all these years is you just have to learn to accept and be grateful. And some things are just not meant to be. Sometimes you want it so bad, but maybe it's not good for you. I just have to learn to live with it, no matter how painful or...
Have you had that thought recently? Or when is the last time you had that thought? Like to go, okay, maybe it's not meant to be.
Every day I have to convince myself. Every day I have to convince myself, you know what, fighting, you're done. You're not getting any more calls. or the person call you but they're not gonna follow through. Now you gotta pass to now because I'm training another guy for his pro debut, Pritiv. So maybe it's him now, or maybe it's a women's boxing team now. So yeah, every day I have to tell myself that the journey is sort of done. So your purpose now is different in the sport.
I've been wondering because I think that right now sports and even the arts is like in Singapore is like it's like I've told Jake about this. So so it goes like, it feels like every guy, every sportsman or every artist in Singapore, it feels like it's a short goal. That there's no long term career goals that you have, right? That it's always like, okay, so what happens if, so when I maybe want to try boxing as a fitness thing. I went to a gym, boxing gym, and when I know boxing gym, I tried that. Maybe I'll try the sparring class.
Mm-hmm.
Then after the sparring class, I'll try the sparring session.
Mm-hmm.
After sparring session, maybe like go to another gym sparring event, then and so on and so forth. It is not exactly, it's not like, do they have this situation, or do you just go, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna be a fighter one day, and that's all I want to do. Or you, yeah, so it's like small events, small thing go on until you become like a pro boxer. Or would you go like, okay, I'm gonna be a pro boxer one day. I've watched enough Mike Tyson fight, and I'm fine. I'm hardly fight then.
For me, it's like I realize that okay, this is what I want to do. What are the steps that I need to do? What are the sacrifices I need to make? What are the things that I'm willing to lose? Can I do all this? Yes, let's do it. So that's for me. I mean, in whatever career, there's always people before us that paved the way. Whether you're an artist, comedian, football player, a boxer, fighter, whatever, there must be somebody who has done it before. Whether they've gone very far or very short, and then you want to be great, right? Everybody want to be great.
Oh, yeah.
So for you to be great, you have to. Everybody at some point have to have reached to that final point where they have to create a new path. So you just have to be the trailblazer. You have to be the one to be blooded, because you're going to be the first one to be breaking down walls. I mean, people say that it's easier overseas. I hate it when people say it's easier overseas. You see, in Philippines, there's so many talent, but if you think properly, how many Filipino boxers really made it?
Oh, yeah.
If there's so much.
I only know Pacquiao. That's
Exactly. So it's like, how sure are you with your whatever skills you have built here in Singapore, whatever determination or willpower you think you have, is enough for you to last for you in Philippines or in US, where the scene is so big. Over here, yes, we have lesser talent, but it's easier to be recognized. But the challenge is, of course, once you're recognized, you are still a small fish in a big pond. Over there, if you really, really made it, you're a big fish in a big pond. But if you think you're a Singaporean fighter and you feel like with whatever dedication, discipline, sacrifice you are willing to give, you can win, you can excel, you can be the top dog in US, I think it's ridiculous.
I've always think like, it's okay. Part of me just find it funny in a sense where people would say, because this may sound very offensive, and but I'm not putting down anyone. But I think that sometimes it's not just dedication, that there's a lot of times that just hard work will only bring you to a certain amount, like a certain place, right? And if you don't have that luck to break through that hard work itself, it's no matter how much hard work you put, that you can only be stagnant at that situation. Like you can't move forward, and I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yep, I agree. I mean, you see quotes like "luck favors the prepared" and whatever, all that nonsense.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
No worries. But yeah, the truth is, you do need luck. You do need people to pull you out of the hole and to take you somewhere, give you a path for you to take. And we all need a little bit of luck. And I truly believe that, if you're just working hard, anybody can work hard. You can just be like a headless chicken, just running around doing whatever that you are told to do. But you do need luck. You do need networking. You do need you need a plan. You need a planned effort to reach a certain goal. You can't just work hard and expect to be noticed.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna switch direction a little bit. I'm gonna ask you about your family, to know you a little bit more. Because I are you the only child, or do they have siblings that also maybe in the sports career as well?
Yeah, I have a younger brother in the sports in the
Also
industry.
pro boxer? Also
No,
boxer?
he represented Singapore in the amateur games a few times. He's a coach now also. I think he's retired. Yeah, but I'm not exactly talking to him right now. But yeah, he's an athlete. He's a coach. He's a good coach. He's a good athlete.
But how's your family dynamic like then? Like is there like a lot of sibling rivalry, or what? Yeah.
No, I think we've been quite supportive before. I mean, I'm still happy for whatever that he's been doing. Of course, there's some things that I don't agree on, but other than that, I think he's doing pretty well for his family, for his career. I would say he was one of the better coaches in Singapore. Hopefully one day he will get the attention that he deserves. Other than that, I think, yeah, I mean, I got 3 younger siblings. So he's the only one who's also in the sport.
Yeah. The other two?
The other 2, they're not in the sport at all. They're not even in sport.
So what they do then? Like maybe because are they doing like a regular like accountant?
Yeah, I think the youngest is in NS. My second is a sister. She's doing an office job. So the third one is the brother, who's the boxing brother. So he was boxing competitively for Singapore, and then now he's just coaching full time.
Is it hard to translate to maybe like the other 2 sibling who is not involved in the sports at all, or even your parents, like you're fighting out there, you're literally throwing out punches and getting punched in the face like that. That's the how do you explain or translate to them? Are they like, I suppose worry is a good word to use, or are they, or have they like, oh yeah, of course he's gonna get punched in the face, like it takes.
I think I never really talked about it with them. I think even for when I went to train in the first few months, they don't even know. So when I told them, it's just like a matter of fact, hey, I'm boxing, like, so okay. So we never really talk about it. And I don't think they see that I'm becoming a worse person. They see me maybe becoming more disciplined, more focused. I have a goal, even though it's not a goal that they want or they like me to see. So yeah.
What have you ever talked about, like, what's the goal that they will hope you to see?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't like academically gifted, so they can't really.
But you went back to school though.
Yeah. That's also thanks to boxing, to be honest. Because when I was going for one of the tournaments, I had met this guy. He was a journalist with Channel News Asia or the Malay paper. I can't remember. So he kept convincing me to go back to school. Okay. I said no so many times. Until one day, one of the SEA Games, he called me over. We went to Starbucks in Orchard. We had to sit down, talk to me again. I should go back to school. I said, you know what? I won't take this nagging anymore. I'll just go back to school. And also, because when I was training, at the point of time, there was this youth. He told me, hey, Ridhwan, I want to be like you when I grow up. Why? See, you don't need to go to school. So easy, just boxing.
Oh my god.
So then I realized, this is not the image that I want to show. So I went back to school because of the guy who's nagging me. And also because of this youth who thinks that my life is damn beautiful. But then halfway through it, I did it for myself. I started not for myself, but I continued and tried to excel for myself. So I did quite not bad. I got a 4 GPA 4, whatever it is, for the first few semesters. Then after that, I did quite okay. So I wasn't like failing in anything.
So what was your major then?
The last I did was diploma in sport and wellness management.
Oh, okay.
So the funny thing, I got accepted into NTU to do sport science. I don't really like it, but I said, I just do it lah. But then at the same time, I had a heartbreak, so I wanted to run away to Australia, whatever. So I applied for another university in Australia to do sports also. So I got the NTU offer first. So but then I had to make a decision. But I was quite sure I would get the one in Australia as well. So I went to reject the NTU offer.
Ah.
So I lost a place. I got the place in university for the Australian university. I didn't do it because I couldn't get enough money to do it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so when I went back to NTU, they said, "Oh, they given the spot to someone else." So okay, you know what? It's not meant to be. So I just didn't go back to school.
Have you tried? Do you want to try and apply?
Nah, thanks. No.
I can see that.
Yeah,
But is it easier now? Because you are coaching now, you have
Mm.
all the practical experience behind.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to go back to school, I wouldn't do sports science. I think I would prefer to do things like I don't know, marketing, business stuff, normal people stuff. Yeah, yeah. I don't really like sports science.
Why though? Is it because it's too structured when it comes to studying sports science, or is there a lot of things that you don't agree with?
No, I think it's just very scientific. It's just very numbers. It's just a lot of theory, and I think sports. I mean, of course, I agree. There's got to be some theory, some facts, some tests to justify certain performances. But sports, I think, is super unique. It's a thing where you can have zero experience, but you're fighting a champion, but you can win. You can be the underdog and win. This is sport is something where numbers don't matter. Your history don't matter. Your experience might not matter. Of course, it matters, but anything can happen in sport. So, and also, I think it's boring. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but yeah, I find it boring.
Because I'm looking at boxing itself, and it can be like a really cool thing to like, because whatever you do, it might not apply to how you train in the gym. Like in the normal gym. I'm not talking about boxing gym. Whatever you train in boxing gym may not, because I remember like doing wood chop and for rugby. So the you hold the plate and just swing it downwards. And I remember going to the gym, like a active SG gym, and man, the instructor was like walking towards me and just asked, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I get to do this in a school rugby team," and the coach was advising me to do this, right? And I said, it's not a real workout," and I'm like, "Whoa, what the fuck is happening?" And I'm like, "Oh," and after that, I was talking to Jake. I was talking to my coach about Jake about it, and it's like, "Oh yeah, sometimes it doesn't translate well because you're like they don't see what you're doing." But when another athlete just came in and just go, "Oh yeah, I know what he's doing. Like I know what."
Yeah, correct. I think it's a there will always be disagreements like the sports world in between the theory people, the practical people, and the old heads who never went to school but they've got their own world champions and they don't want to change, and they will say like doing weights will make you slow, but the new guys will say no, doing weights will actually help you. So it's different schools of thought. So there's no right, there's no wrong. To me, just do whatever you want. Just do it as long as you don't get injured. Your goal is met. It's fine.
I remember like there's another Reddit forum like saying like Sunny Liston. Oh, because I was reading up a lot on Sunny Liston. I was just trying to like understand his fight style. So I was like, okay, Sunny Liston they're like, oh, did Sunny Liston use weights? Like use weights when at that era.
Did he? I don't think so, right?
I don't know. I'm just curious about like do they use weights?
I believe what they were doing were like chopping wood, running in the morning, running on sand, throwing stones and rocks, and they're just sparring almost every day.
It feels like it's is it Rocky 3? Like the whole
They were running up the steps.
Not just running up the steps. The scene where Rocky went to Russia.
Oh yeah, something like that lah.
I was like, fuck, like that. I mean, like how old school it goes, like, because I also saw like Sugar Ray Leonard didn't do pads at his era as well. So
yeah, pad work is actually something that's quite new. Again, even in boxing, different school of thought. Some say pad work is bullshit. Some say pad work works. Some say Mayweather's pad work is bullshit, but he's the champion of the world. a lot of time. So
Some people also say that Mayweather is not like a real fight. Like it's not like he may not be the greatest fighter in the world as well.
I mean, you can argue that he might not, but it's not his fault that he's born now.
No, yeah.
It's not his fault that Sugar Ray Leonard or whoever the greats were not born at the same time as him. I mean, we can only wish that this can happen, but it's over.
No.
The fact is that he is undefeated, whether it's like carefully planned, the timing of the fights or whatever it is. But he is undefeated. He's shown greatness in the ring, so you can't really, not say can't really, you can't even take that away from him.
Yeah.
So even the greats have been knocked out. Duran has been knocked out.
Oh yeah.
I know. I think a lot of people are just bitter to see him that successful.
I suppose I suppose you have both. You have been to the both side of the coin, right? Like I've never thought of, like, it's also for me in my area of study, in my area of work that's not in boxing, that I realize it's hard to be the guy to be at the bottom looking up and just like, okay, I like the guys who were before me or after me just came out and reached to the goal that they want to be, that I want to be
I
at.
understand.
And you're like, man, how why, like, why is it not me? Like, I've put in the effort. It's not me. Like, what the fuck, man?
I mean, it depends, man. It depends on the mentality that you have. Like for me, I enjoy it. I enjoy being the one who suck. You can't be the best in the gym. If you're the best in the gym, you're in the wrong gym. You should go find somewhere else where you can improve. Because I remember when I first started, I was almost the only person who was trying to do infighting, like the slipping, weaving. I was watching a lot of Julio Cesar Chavez, and I was boxing my other counterparts, my other teammates. They were all doing the outboxing style. They were more like Oscar De La Hoya, Muhammad Ali style, footwork and stuff. And we don't even have a boxing ring. Our training ground is like a basketball court. So when we spar, we end up like from one end of the basketball court to the other end of the basketball court. Yeah, so that big. Yeah. And people, when they look at my fights now, they say, oh, your slipping is good, your weaving is good, your head movement is good. But if only they could see how I started, they will understand why I am this good now. Because I took a lot of hits that are not healthy for the brain. a bit too much. Yeah. So, but it taught me a lot of things. It taught me that I had the determination, because a lot of people won't last. And those times, broke, no money, no transport money, go to the gym, get beat up, and come back again the next day. Damn, I love it. Nobody could ask for me anything. Nobody asked me for favors. All I did was just box, work in the kitchen, go back to boxing again. Yeah, it was fun, man.
Are you always an infighter? Or I suppose you broke off, like, because I try to watch some of your match that's available online.
I started off always trying to infight, and I naturally want to infight because I think styles comes down to where you train and what kind of videos you like to watch. So the videos I like to watch are those who are very aggressive.
So it's like Fraser.
Yeah, Fraser, Chavez, Duran. So they are very aggressive and all that. So, and my teammates are those who hit and don't get hit kind. Yeah.
I think it's a very common theme at least in Singapore boxing, where I see a lot of outboxer, and I myself I like slug. I like to be a slugger. I like to go in, give one heavy one, choose my punches. My one of my favorite boxers are like Lister, Foreman.
Yours is really the slugger, the pure slugger. Yeah. Foreman, Liston. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Liston, Wilder, maybe a little bit of Lennox Lewis as well. But you see them just whack it and slug it out, and wow, like the amount of power that you have in. But I also see a lot like Muhammad Ali. Like everyone knows Muhammad Ali. Everyone wants to be like Lomachenko. I hear a lot of people like who goes in and just I want to fight like Lomachenko, and people, and they're like, oh my god, like how do I fight?
Yeah, everybody wants to be Lomachenko, but Lomachenko has been doing it since he was a kid, so people forget that. People don't want to do the boring stuff. People don't want to do the basic stuff, but they just want to do the side steps, the sleeps, the weaves. But it actually takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of practice. I mean, style also comes down to the gym style, to a certain to your coach's coaching style. I mean, I've been the referee for the Legend Sparring Invitational a few times. I think 4 times really. So when I was the referee, I listened to the different corners, to the different gyms, the way they speak out. I mean, Spartans,
Buena Vista.
Buena Vista was part of the show also a few times, and I've heard their instructions. I've heard the other gyms instructions, 5G, Legends. So we all have a certain unique style of boxing. So I sort of know now how they train, how they approach things, how they think. So when I listen to the kind of instructions Jake gives out, the kind of instruction this gym gives out, so now I understand why the fighters are almost always a certain way. So it really depends on the way you train.
I've I was sparring with someone else, and we all tend to agree. Like because I used to my first gym is Aries Fight Club.
Yeah, this is a very technical gym.
So me and my friends are like, how do you spot an Aries Fight Club boxer?
Their 1-2 is good.
Their 1-2 is good. That you look at, they're very light on their feet.
Yep.
They're like keep moving around.
Yep.
Yeah. Of course, it's Aries Fight Club like that.
Yeah.
And you tend to see like the certain style of going into like a certain like although it feels like very representative of that, but I also wonder like that will coaches like cultivate styles that's not representative of that gym.
I'm not sure. I can't speak for the rest, but I mean for Legends, we teach a certain format. We teach a certain fundamental, a certain template. Now, after a while, after mastering this template, then we will of course, if the person just want to do for fitness, it doesn't really matter. If the person loves boxing, they want to learn the different parts about boxing, whether it's infighting, countering, fighting southpaw, whatever, we will teach them. But when we come to the fighters, we have to tailor a certain style to their strength and to not magnify their weaknesses. So we always have a certain template, certain way they stand, certain way they approach the game. But after a while, as they progress, whatever I teach boxer A will be totally different from boxer B, because they both don't think the same, they don't feel the same. Some can have a better pain tolerance. Some just have better stamina. Some have better athleticism. Some just not very coordinated, but just very durable. So it really depends. No one fight is the same.
What are the biggest conflicting styles that you have seen in a matchup? They just go, oh fuck, this is gonna be fun.
For my boxers, is it?
Yeah.
I would say when they are both trying to infight.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's like a bull versus a bull. It depends on who's the smarter bull. Because sometimes a lot of times our opponents are punch harder. My boxers may not be the most talented, but they listen, and whatever I say, I always tell them I don't care how you fight, but any boxer that comes from Legends, you need to have a solid jab. You need to have a good jab. You need to know how to use the jab. You need to have good defense. And we have an aggressive fighting style, but doesn't mean we have to always go forward all the time. We can be boxing, outboxing, counter punching, but we are the more aggressive one. So a lot of times I think my boxers fight those who are more experienced, a bit more talented for sure, but we win because based on strategy. Yeah, we just try to outsmart, out hustle, and a few times we won. So and of course a lot of times also we lost, but it shows that strategy plays a big part.
I am just wondering how much aggressiveness in a fight will depict you as a better boxer.
To me, aggression, it has to be effective. A lot of coaches, even in Singapore, are so uneducated. A lot of boxers are more uneducated because they listen to their coaches who are uneducated, because they feel like you just need to be aggressive. But if you just want to be aggressive and win, you don't fight the person. You just go in there and shadow box, right? So to be aggressive means you are initiating the punches. You are controlling the ring. You are going to the right, going to the left because you want to, not because you are forced to. You are going forward because you want to push him back, not because you cannot reach. The person is making you fall forward. That's why you're going forward. You are going back not because you are running, but because you want the person to come forward so you can counter. So to me, that's effective aggression. The punches should land. There should be minimal wastage of punches. You should have control of the fight. You should know what you're doing. So as a judge, if I look at boxer A and boxer B, I would say, okay, I prefer to be boxer A. So boxer A will win.
Oh, okay. But because I'm just wondering, like where I just try to box and spar because I got friends who I don't spar in the gym sometimes, right? But they are all like friendly in the sense where we know what we are doing and stuff like that. So, and to spar with each other that's not with our own gym, it feels like it's very jarring initially. But it's just like oh shit, like you see the other person is doing something that's really really cool.
Yeah.
And I am trying out something really cool. I remember like looking at someone just go fuck, like, how do they do like framing and stuff like that, and that's one thing that I would love to learn. And just like, oh shit, like how do you implement, and then we're like asking and giving each other advice, like how do you want to do it and stuff like that, like hand control, like how.
Yeah.
And to me it's like a weird brotherhood is formed.
Correct.
And it's like, oh, like, oof, like this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be interesting. Like how, like you have like two different fight styles that coming in together. I remember like fighting with, I remember like sparring, like sparring with someone who's very good at footwork. And like, of course, I'm not gonna be like him. I'm gonna be a slow guy, but I can like frame him and stuff like that, and just push him away.
Yep.
And just like, oh, come in. My hands are gonna like block you a little bit and stuff like that. And I realized someone else might not agree on what I'm doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, your coach should be the best person, or the training partner should be the best person to tell you what to do, because they've seen you. They know your strength. They know your weaknesses. They know your habits. They know your temperament. You know, they know how you think, how you're gonna approach things. So, as a coach, maybe you would see this guy. For me, I would see a guy. Why is he outboxing? He should be infighting. But he and his coach might not agree because they've been working on certain things, or maybe they already make a decision. No, your infighting is sucks anyway, so you might as well just outbox. So everybody have their own reasons. So we don't always see the bigger picture of how they prepare, where they come from, or how they train. So it's always easy to honestly, everybody have the best game plan. You see a Pacquiao fight versus Mayweather fight. Everybody got the best game plan. Why Pacquiao never go to the right? Why Pacquiao never go to the left? Why he should hit Mayweather's shoulders? And he should do this, should do that. Everybody got the best game plan. But it's different because we are not there. We don't see. We don't know about their injuries. We don't know what they've been working on. So, to me, it doesn't really matter what everybody thinks. You just listen to Jake. You just listen to your training partners. But of course, sometimes they can be wrong. But at the end of the day, when you have a good team, you analyze, you evaluate, and you review your performances. You will realize that you cannot just luck. Sometimes you need a little bit of skill, a little bit to like outbox, a little bit, not to be like fantastic like Muhammad Ali, but enough to survive, enough to save you when you get hurt, because you will get hurt when you box. And you can't just keep going forward.
Yeah. I've talked to Jake as well, and because recently like Jake has been moving around, so it feels a little bit weird because it takes about 4 to 5 months, right? If I'm being conservative and stuff like that, takes 4 to 5 months to realize that, oh, I fight like that. Like, I fight the way I fight, right? Because every guy look at me and you just go like, oh yeah, of course. Look at his stature, right? Look at his height. Look at his length of limbs, right? Of course, he's going to be outboxing, and I'm like, and it take me a while to go. I can't outbox for sure. So I'm glad. I'm very lucky to have like Jake to like tell me like how do I to tell me, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it, and that's how I'm gonna do it. That's how and just go, okay, maybe we should try this route and that route and stuff like that. But then I realized sometimes it's the whole stereotype of a certain boxing style that will fit
Yeah.
on a certain because of the stature and stuff like that. Like it's although it's not the best, but it's the only thing that no one will come to my mind. Will come to my mind. Go, oh, of course he wants to be a slugger and just fight the way he wants to fight and just get in fight and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the best style is for those who know how to adapt.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the best style. You should know a bit of everything, but of course you will tend to do a certain way. But the best way is to adapt. That's why you can learn. There can never be enough time to learn how to box because one day you have to learn how to box, one day you have to infight, counter, fight southpaw, fight with one hand maybe because one other hand might be injured one day. So you have to be prepared for so many things.
Have you fought with injury before?
During one of the fights in Philippines, I was against this Filipino. Pacquiao was there ringside.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So for a moment, I hear the audience like shouting, so excited. And I said, "Oh damn, I'm making them so excited." But no, it's just Pacquiao walking in. Yeah.
But did you manage to talk to Pacquiao after that?
I met Pacquiao like 3-4 times really.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I went to his Congress office. He was just watching basketball like any other man there. Yeah, he's a nice guy. I thought I spoke to him a few times. I met him 3-4 times. Then yeah, so during the fight, I think I landed one of my punches on my opponent's head on the skull. So I thought I broke my hand, but it felt weird. I couldn't punch with it anymore. So I had to be calculated with how I punch. I lost the fight, even though I felt like I won. After opening the gloves, I think my knuckle was super bruised.
Oh yeah.
But I was scared it was gonna be fractured, but luckily it's not. So I just had to let it heal. Then going into the next fight, 2 or 3 months later, it wasn't really 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I still just went through with it lah.
But how? I'm just curious how is Pacquiao like as a character as a man like is he like the same character that you see him on in the ring, or selling a fight, or is he just another man is he just another man on his own like he plays a character on.
I don't know. I think it's a bit of a character, and of course he's generally humble lah. Yeah, of course. But I mean, okay, it's not me saying it, but it's on his own interviews, he's on his own documentaries. He has his own vices.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whatever the vices is up to you for you to read up. So he has his own vices, he has his own bad habits outside of the ring, which he said so himself, not me. I'm not a hater. Yeah. So, but his marketing team has done a great job to market him as a God-fearing man, a family man, a man who's humble, and all of that above. So he's the best. They built the best character possible to go against a bad guy in Mayweather. So it's perfect.
Like face versus heel again.
Yeah. So it's perfect. Like it sells the story. It's marketable. That's why everybody loves Pacquiao. He's generous. Because in Philippines, I think people line up outside of his house before he goes out for his run. He just hands out $100 US bills to them.
Fuck, really?
Really? You just have to queue up. I don't know how long you have to queue up, but he just gives money. Yeah, so it's crazy.
But man, like I suppose like people, it's just a weird thing to wrap around my head. Like people know how a professional boxer. Well, where does a where do you stay? Like that's to me like you got so big that you just go like, oh, so this is a place where.
Yeah. That's why he's not always in the Philippines before. He's always in the US when he's preparing for his fights. And he has bodyguards who stop people from coming and jumping onto him. I mean, if you're at that level.
Imagine you're a boxer and you have bodyguards. Like
I need the bodyguard to bring people to me. I need the bodyguards to bring people to me. I don't have enough people knowing me.
So is it easier like okay, I suppose you met your partner, right? Like when she knows you're boxing, like is it easier to be in the ring?
I guess so.
Like what's the dynamic like since right now you are having you have a kid right now, and you are married, so and to fight in the ring. It's not. It's sometimes it's gonna be bloody, right?
Yeah, but I don't get blooded too much lah. So it's not very worrying. I still, the thing about me is when I sacrifice, right? I don't sacrifice. Okay, I sacrifice time. Maybe I'm not home that much with my son and all that, but I don't sacrifice the other parts. Like I make sure I provide. I make sure like I spend as much time as possible that I humanly can, and I try to be the only one to sacrifice. I try to be not get them to get through the pain. So it's just mostly me. So, but it's difficult when I have to go to overseas training camps. When I get injured, but thankfully nothing so serious. So, and she knows this is what I do. So she just learned. There wasn't really a discussion about it. I think it's automatically understood and acceptable.
If your son grows up and say, I want to be involved in combat sports, not just boxing, right? But in any form of combat sports, and maybe one day he say that, hey, you know what? I want to turn pro. Is there like I suppose you'll give support, but what advice or what kind of danger you go? Okay, look, like this is the place where I do not want you to venture into, because it's not a good place. You're getting much for whatever reasons are.
I will tell him that you will have to be ready to fail and try again, because you will fail. You will feel like there's nobody on your side. You will feel like this is pointless. You will feel regret. I'm just telling him. I'm just gonna tell you now that you will face all that, and you have to be ready to live with it. Whether you made it or not, whether you make it or not, you just have to live with it.
What are the holes that you see yourself? Because I remember reading you feeling betrayed about your like after feeling alone in your boxing career, where your partners leave you, like on when you're not the legends one, but the one in the marketing side of things.
I mean, I guess the newspaper had to write something saucy, right? So for me, I don't really see it as a betrayal. I mean, it's business. At the end of the day, I know signing with this guy that this might happen. But at that point of time, I also know that signing with this guy is going to give me the best opportunities, the best possible opponents. And I know he might run away.
So
I know.
so it kind of like going in knowing these things will happen.
I don't say it will. I say I know it might. I know a lot of people are telling me that he's gonna do it. I said I know. I realize it, but I say do it because the other promoters couldn't afford to offer me legit fights. They couldn't give me the fights that I want, the title fights, the opponents from the Philippines, the people from the South Africa, for Africa or whatever, the high quality guys. But this guy can. So I know I needed this to build on my resume, and unfortunately he left after the world title fight. Yeah, so that was one of the highest paydays, but I was only paid half, and then the other half he disappeared. But I've learned to accept it. So even though got paid half, I was almost paid none because I promised my coaches back then that this is the amount they're gonna get, and I took care of them very well. So they get paid with the half that I got, and I got nothing. So that world title fight, I fought for free, and I lost the fight. For me, like I would provide as much as I can to the people that have supported me. I mean, money is important, but it's not everything. The only betrayal I feel that I don't talk about that much, I've never spoken about. I don't want to say it, but I don't think I will regret it anymore. It's because I would say it's my Filipino coach back then, Ray, because he was training me. He was telling me about how we would stick together and all that. I know money is important for him. I don't deny that. I always try to give him the best. The commission I give him for my fight is so much more than any other coaches get. And every time when I get sponsors, he keeps asking me for money, but also I try to understand he's got a son and whatever. But he's doing extremely well there now in Philippines. He's went back. So he's got his own gym, he's got his own apartment, he owns a few buildings or something, I don't know. So and then I paid him. for the fight. But I'm just so sad that he went around telling some of our mutual friends or clients that I didn't pay him and I left him, and yeah. So that, to me, that's betrayal.
How do you find out? Oh,
A mutual friend told me, a trusted mutual friend told me, and he said something on his social media as well, which is stupid. Yeah.
but if this is what I do not understand, like burning bridges for the sake of burning bridges. That did he show signs that he's gonna burn bridges, or are there rumors?
Again, when I trained with him, people told me that he's a money person, which I understand. Coming from a difficult situation in Philippines where you got nothing, then you come in Singapore, you got the opportunity to make money for your family. You're gonna squeeze every bit of it. But of course, I was hoping that he wouldn't just see me as a money making machine, because he was making quite a lot. He was making exceptionally well. He wasn't like poor or anything. He wasn't like starving, and yeah, I supported him. I allowed him to train his clients at my gym. I paid him not just for the fight. Any sponsorship money I got, I shared it with him, even though I don't have to. Yeah, to me, I did more than I should lah. And I don't think I deserve to be spoken of or treated that way. But he did. Then after that, he went back to fighting again or whatever. Then he lost his fight and he retired for good.
Okay. Do you vet people more closely right now, since you're at the peak of what you're doing, or you're pushing?
I've always been very careful. I've always been a very careful person. I don't trust people a lot, but at the same time, I forgive people easily. Too fast, too soon. I think I'm just soft lah. I'm just soft. A lot of times people talk about me, but like I said before, I will always fight them back on social media. You put me on your IG stories, you'll be on mine IG story next, bitch.
Man,
now,
but it gets tiring though.
yeah, it gets tiring, and then I end up as being as a bad person, even though I have the facts right, even though I don't do anything wrong, even though people can see the stories from A and B. Hey, Ridhwan is actually the right one, but I'm wrong for posting it. So there's really no point there. I just learned to accept that, I have a voice, but I don't have a voice. So whatever I say will be wrong anyway. So I have people talk about the gym not treating them well. I have people talk about me as being a bad employer. People talk about me not being a good person. And it's always easy to believe all this because a lot of people are finding for reasons to put me down.
But I think that's when you know you're at the top, when you have too many people critiquing you.
I guess I wouldn't say at the top, but I would say it's just something that people love to talk about, and so I just channel it and strategize it properly, where I use my voice to promote the gym, promote the business, promote my fighters, promote the boxing scene, and it works.
What's the weirdest critic that you have heard of about yourself?
Weirdest is
what was the most ridiculous thing that you go, oh fuck, like how is it my fault, or what did I do wrong now?
I think one of the most ridiculous ones is like, okay, people talk about pro fighting like as if they've seen the contract, like as if they're part of a meeting, and to say, oh, why this fight didn't happen, or why that fight happened. And they think they most of them have never seen a fight contract before, whatever it entails, whatever it said, whether there's a rematch clause, how much money is involved, and they think they know the whole story. And the most common thing I've gotten from people is to be humble. I'm like, what? What? I think and I also in general, I hate people who say, what's your best quality? I'm humble. What? You don't. If you're humble, you don't tell people you're humble.
I remember like saying like one BMW that's in. You know those painting that you look at one angle is that then the other is, but it's always those flashy color.
Yes, correct.
And then on the windscreen itself, on top you go #stay humble. I'm like,
correct. It's super annoying. What is that called? Humble brag.
Oh
yeah.
Man.
So it's like you are trying to be great, but then people say they feel insecure. It brings out the insecurities in them. Then they're just telling you to be humble. It's like I'm the most ridiculously humble person you ever know, but too bad you will never know that side of me. And I don't need you to. I don't need to tell people what I do, what I say, what I do with my money, what I do with my business. I don't need to say. At the end of the day, people always say so many things. Yeah, so people always also say that I'm just pretending to have haters. That is shit. If they can really see the amount of Instagram messages I got from people, yeah, that's really ridiculous. They will always say, people, not everything revolves around you. People don't always talk about you. I think they're just jealous that I have haters.
It's just like a weird. It's just like a very weird thing. I'm not so sure whether is it the same with all celebrities in Singapore or all sports top sports in Singapore that happen that way, or is it like the same with everywhere else? Because if it's like, this is how I would think. If you're succeeding, because I'm just trying to get my way to the top as well, and like to be, I think the best way to know that you're at the top is, well, it's the amount of haters that you have. Like that's when you know. That's when I know I have kind of made it, right? That's yeah. So it's like, oh wow, like that when people say, oh, I hate your stuff, like, oh, okay, thank you, I guess.
Yeah.
you at least I'm in your radar, I guess.
Correct. I think I wouldn't say I have haters lah. It sounds so ridiculous also. Yeah, I would say I don't trash talk, but I speak my mind. There are a lot of things I don't agree about. There are a lot of things that I think can be done better. I like to point out people who don't do their job. Yeah, so people get offended. And I know I don't have the best. I know I don't have the best approach a lot of times. I am not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. Sometimes unintentionally, most times intentionally. So people can't handle that. So but whatever I do, it's all calculated. Like in the ring, whatever I do is calculated. Whatever I do outside is calculated. Whether it's to push my promotions to the gym, whether it's to make certain moves, to make the certain people do something in the scene to make things happen. Everything has a purpose. I don't just hate for no reason. I don't just say you are shit for no reason. Everything happens for a reason.
What's the when is the last time you've done something that you try to provide for the scene, and yet it kind of like backfires on you?
Nothing backfires on me. Nothing backfires on me. And most people will just talk
shit.
Yeah, talk shit, talk good, talk bad. They pretend to talk good, but then behind they talk bad. It doesn't matter lah. To me, it doesn't really matter.
I'm just curious about the politics in the boxing scene in Singapore, because it feels like it's a very small niche kind of thing where and I'm not talking about like the between the gyms in Singapore where like everyone's like, oh, I just come in for fitness and stuff like that. Where, but it's more like, oh, so what are the what are the weird politics they have when it comes to, if I know someone who I know like the Singapore's got few boxing competition. If you join this competition, you don't go to that competition and stuff like that. Like
yeah, okay, I guess. Okay, one thing to be training under me, right? If people hate me, they hate the gym. So sometimes they don't see us involved in certain competitions. It's not that I don't want to send, because I'm not invited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like I want to restrict my boxers from competing or whatever. Okay, first also I always tell my fighters to, one day you might learn something. You might not learn anything from me anymore. You need to move on. You move on. You just tell me, because I've invested a lot of money. I've invested a lot of time. But also I will totally respect your decision to leave. But you don't have to talk shit. Just tell me, and I will hold your hand, bring you to that gym, and say, you know what, this guy needs to progress. You take him over. When it comes to promotions, there are certain promotions we cannot take part in. Is because of the rules. It's like we have to listen to the big brother, which is International Boxing Association. So they control the Olympics and all that. So if we break the rules here in Singapore, and somebody takes a photo that we are the certain gym or certain or that the SBF, Singapore Boxing Federation, allows to happen, they report it to the big guys. So the big guys can decide to ban the country from competing in international tournaments. So do I care to compete in your small tournament in Singapore? Or do I prefer for the big ones like SEA Games, Asian Games, Commonwealth? And if we don't go for these games overseas, why would Sport Singapore fund the sport anymore? You have to understand, because every event promoter has got their own agenda.
But
which is fine.
if that's the case, okay, here's this thing, right? Why is International Boxing Federation such a has such clause? Is it because of their own politics, or is it because of safety reasons, or is it because of their
I'm sure it's also politics. I'm also sure they want everybody to be under them. So there's certain sanctioning fees to be paid, and also safety, the rules, certain rules and regulations. To make it simple, it's like how in US, right? You see a lot of tournaments that are not sanctioned by USA Boxing Federation, and they fight different than those boxers representing US who go to the Olympics, for example. Because the other organizations, right? They are amateurs, but they fight more like the pro style. It's just more like a stepping stone for them to go pro. It's not for them to prepare to go to the Olympics and stuff like that. So it's I think this trend is starting in Singapore now. So that's the thing. If somebody truly wants to support the local boxing community, just get Singapore Boxing Federation involved. You do the amateur part. Everybody can send their boxers. I personally will send my own boxers, because I couldn't send now, because anybody who participates in events not sanctioned by SBF will be banned for a year. And I don't see a lot of gyms or boxers want to risk that.
Because I'm just wondering, like, how at what level would you or at least like the whole personal agenda when it comes to like fighting in not under SBF, or because I know like there are some like places who just want to like fight in a and like, okay, look, there's a fight here, that's why you go into this fight.
Yeah, I guess also it set certain rules and regulations. Also anybody can just start a fight at a void deck and say, this is sanctioned by XYZ Corporation. Then why is it wrong? Why is so different than SBF events? Because the other event also do what? So I guess we need to have that line to like make sure that, okay, this is not like any Tom, Dick and Harry can just go into the ring and fight and risk their lives.
But there's also another part of me that just go like, okay, so it's IBF, right? And I know there's a lot of like different organizations as well. So I don't is IBF under other title belts, because it's because you're going after going Olympics, right? And you kind of like, hey, maybe I should go pro, or if you go after SEA Games, like, hey, I can't want to go pro, right?
Yep.
So is there like a specific title belt that you want to go that you want to take? Like do you choose, because I remember like watching a lot of documentaries about like title belts and stuff, like WBA versus the other title belt on IF, like that they'll
WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, yeah. So it really depends on which sanctioning body that promoter usually likes to work with. When you're starting out, I guess. But when you're at the top level, when you have the two belts, obviously you have the other two belts to fight for. So the promoter will have to pay the sanctioning fees for the other two belts. Like for Singapore, I think we are closely related with the WBC. So I think that's one of the stepping stones for most upcoming pro boxers lah in Singapore.
There's this super championship belt and champion or something like that. I remember reading up, and just you have to be in that in that belt to have that belt to go for, just so that you can be like a world undisputed champion or something like that, right?
To be world undisputed means you need to have all the four major belts, which is the WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, which is not. I think right now in the world there are only two boxers who holds all four belts. There's Josh Taylor, and one more is Cambosos.
Okay.
From Australia, the guy who just won Teofimo Lopez. I believe they are the only two undisputed world champions.
Okay. So I'm like, hey, wow, like that's like the whole boxing championship type. It's because it's like the whole thing. I remember like reading Redrick Bro like throwing away his title belt and stuff like that, and just like throwing the WBC and the whole Don King era of whole. It's like it's very fascinating, right? And then just like, oh my god, like the whole drama behind boxing to have that kind of stuff and going on.
It's politics, like it's politics.
Like I suppose the politics now in Singapore is it still very? It's not that strong, right? Or
No lah. Politics is more like just talking shit about each other. That's all. It's quite child's play lah. Nothing. It's quite stupid. Yeah.
so on the so I guess that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure like what's the whole I do not know much. Like I said, I feel like there's a good pick when it comes to the Singapore boxing scene,
Mm-hmm.
right? And yeah, and I think that's about it. I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.